Oh my god. Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to discuss my least favorite or worst films of 2023. I think that, oh my goodness. Let's get back to the show. This is going to be a really strange list for a lot of people, and that's because I don't see a lot of the really, really, really bad movies that a lot of you have seen. So, I think it's great. I get to hear what my friends' opinions are, and if something sucks, I'm just not going to go see it and waste my time. So, I did actually get a list of 10 films that, for the ones that I did see, were the worst of those films. I think this has overall been like such an incredible year in film, and I'm not doing the best of list yet. I still have like 4 or 5 films to see, and so I'm not going to do that until I actually see those films, because it wouldn't feel right for me to do that. So without further ado, let's go to number 10. Number 10 is going to The Creator. I really, really, really wanted to love this movie. Oh my goodness, get the hell out of here. I really wanted to love this movie, but it was honestly really shallow and boring to me. I think that the visuals are some of the most incredible visuals I've seen in such a long time. So it was just so disappointing that the movie overall was flat. I remember just constantly checking my watch and seeing when it was over. Like at a certain point, it just like really lost me, and I just didn't care anymore. I loved the little girl in it; she was fantastic. But overall, it's to me number 10 on the worst of 2023 list. Number 9. This brings me to a film that had the absolute opposite problem. So visually, it looked horrendous. I did like moments of the story and what they were trying to do, and I think that if there hadn't been such chaos and drama like with what went on with that movie, I think it probably would have been a solid film. When I left the theater, I actually thought to myself, like, oh, I had a really fun time watching it. And I definitely did. And there was so many things that I think they did really well with it. But to me, The Flash just really fell flat. And I really do think that is due to all of its issues that it had prior to the film coming out, which is a shame because I was really looking forward to it. And again, there are moments that are really, really good in that film, but overall, I think we've all talked about The Flash to death, so I'm going to just leave it there. Number 8 is the newest Disney film, Wish. I loved the concept. I really, really do. And I think that not a lot of people are talking about the fact, oh my goodness. Okay, sweetheart. Not a lot of people are talking about the fact that the film's plot is, like, the whole film in general is a very anti-communism movie. And I really liked that, and I really liked the messaging. The songs were not up to the caliber of what you expect in a Disney film. I've felt that way for quite some time. And it's not just because I'm not 6 years old and obsessed with the soundtrack, with regardless what it is. Like the OG like soundtracks from Disney are so good, and I think that they're just not up to par anymore. But I think that the voice acting for the friends, like the friends in general, her best friends, are so bland and you just don't care. And also like the singing voices. And I've said this before, that like Disney films don't have voices that sound really current. They have more of that Broadway-esque type of vocal on those tracks. And with this film, it felt very reminiscent of a DreamWorks animated film where they do go for that like super current poppy R&B, type of soulful type of singing. And it just really was distracting to me. I don't think that those songs sounded that good because of that. Ariana DeBose, like her songs, like she did a great job, but she has that traditional voice in a sense that does work well with the Disney style. So yeah, I thought the animation was actually pretty cool. I do miss the hand-drawn 2D animation, and I like that they did bring that back, and like the watercolor matte painting type of aspect to it. But yeah, it was a miss for me. I did like the sidekick, but it's hard to get the sidekicks like that wrong. I don't think it's like the worst Disney movie I've ever seen, but it's certainly not up there, and that was also a big disappointment. Number 8 goes to Blue Beetle. Now, it's not that bad. It really isn't, but it was bland, and no one took any risks with that movie, which I guess is a good thing in some aspects. I did love the family. I really liked the actor that plays Blue Beetle, but the whole premise was very half-assed. I felt like someone just wrote it out in a day, as far as what was going to happen with the villain and everything, moving forward with that character. It felt like a very lazy film. I know it was meant to be just straight to streaming, and you can tell by the way they shot it. It's very interesting. Like, things are purposely shot differently when you know they're just going to go right to streaming. And seeing it on the big screen, it just didn't really work at all. So I do want that character to move forward in the DCU. But I really hope that they give him a little bit more of a complex storyline to able to tackle and team up with others. I think he's a really good character to team up with people, because he's got that like Spider-Man charismatic comedic relief. So I would really like to see more of that in the future. Number 6 is another Disney film, and it is the live action adaptation of The Little Mermaid. Yes, you have very big shoes to fill when you're going to do the live adaptation of something that is so beloved by so many people. And certain things I did really like about it. I did really like Halle Bailey's performance. Her voice is obviously like from the heavens. Like, it's just so gorgeous to listen to. But the things that they did with this didn't make any sense. Sebastian's not even like the king's, conductor or orchestrator of the court. So none of the musical instruments were being played during the Under the Sea number, which was so weird to hear fish singing about playing instruments and they're not playing instruments. It was very strange. I don't like the changes they made to the Kiss the Girl song and the Ursula Poor Unfortunate Souls song. I think it's kind of like overdoing it as far as like changing things to like be more PC. The same feeling about when I get about the Baby It's Cold Outside song, which I'm glad is uncanceled, because it's like that song is just two people flirting. Have you ever flirted with someone before? People say stuff like that. My goodness. So yeah, I felt the same way about the Kiss the Girl number. Like, that whole scene is flirting, and like the anticipation and will he, won't he? And I think changing the lyrics was just absolutely ridiculous. I do think Melissa McCarthy did an outstanding job as Ursula. Javier Bardem was asleep the whole time, and it really just missed the mark. And the new songs added absolutely nothing. They just were there, and there's a reason. Oh my God, there's a reason why they did not get any Golden Globe nominations for Best Song. Sorry about that. I think I'm going to have to take this off because I can't deal with this the rest of the video. Number 5 is Voyage of the Demeter. Now, I know this movie is based off of a chapter of the Nosferatu book. Starts off really strong and then just gets silly. I don't understand why they didn't just try to leave the ship at any given point during the daytime when Dracula is asleep on the boat. That would have made just so much more sense. I don't care about all the excuses they've given. Like, they keep giving excuses throughout the movie why they need to stay and make it through. How about you all get on a lifeboat, go to the closest island, wait it out overnight, and then try to get to where your destination is from there. I know there's money involved, but at that point, when you see so many people getting killed off by Dracula, I think it's time to just get the hell out of there. So, and I know that the chapter is that movie is based off of only takes place over one night. So that to me is so awesome. And I feel like if they had made it a bottle episode kind of like that, only overnight, yeah, you could have the whole setup in the beginning like they did, which I thought was really good. I thought there was some great acting in the film. Overall, have all that set up and then just make the big epic one night only type of thing, where you see all the chaos and mayhem. So yeah, that was my biggest problem with the movie. And so yes, the Voyage of Demeter is on my worst list of 2023. Number 4, Shazam 2. And this is another film that I spoke, pretty positively on my channel. And there's a couple of here that I have spoken pretty positively about, because I think that these films, they're not the best, but which is why they're on my worst list. But I think there are positives to some of them, and I think that Shazam 2 did have positives because you are getting the same, family dynamic from the first one. The first one's really, really good. And that kid who plays the young Adam Brody is just fantastic. I think I might be the only person that liked the Skittles ad thing, but I thought that was absolutely hilarious and really well shot. But I think overall, the villain is just villains are all dumb. I think like Lucy Liu was asleep again. We had a lot of actors in these big budget movies that were just asleep during these roles, and you don't want that for a villain. And I think that was really one of the biggest issues of the movie. It had a great soundtrack. I loved, Eminem and all that stuff on the bridge. Like that was fantastic. But like maybe that wasn't on the bridge, but you know what I mean. There was Eminem in it, and it was great. I don't know if the production was rushed or whatever, but it just felt kind of like, again, a half-assed version of the first one. So I have to put it on this list. Okay, number 3 of the worst films of 2023. And again, I'm reminding you all, these are films that I've seen. I haven't seen the Indy 5s. I haven't seen the Meg Trench. I haven't seen Fast X. So a lot of those really, really bad movies I just didn't see. So this is my personal list, and I just want to say that one more time if you guys think I'm just all crazy that these are the top 3 worst for me. So number 3 is Scream 6, and I feel like the whole film was not predictable, but it was kind of boring when you find out who was revealed. I hate the fact that the entire marketing campaign was that this time it's in New York City, and none of it was filmed in New York City. And there's a thing that they do that a lot of movies do when they place it in New York City, and they always have like an alley scene. And like there's a big alley scene in the first, first 10 minutes of the movie. The kills are great. They really are. But this one in particular. But there are no alleys in Manhattan. There's like 1 or 2 super downtown that they actually use all the time to film because screenwriters write in the scripts an alley and blah 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 turns the corner into an alley, and they all take place in New York, and it's like there are no alleys here. So that's something that is like really nitpicking at that point. But I just felt there was a lot of opportunities to be more creative with the whole cell phone aspect, because I hate in these movies when something could be solved so easily just by calling the police or using your cell phone to call someone. And there were multiple times where that was the case, and they didn't come up with anything clever enough to make that happen, or like to validate why they didn't call someone. So that's a missed opportunity for me as well. It was fine. It was just another Scream that didn't really blow my socks off or anything like that. So, and I think the anticipation again was like, oh, this is going to be great. I love Jenna Ortega. I think she's a superstar, and everyone in that cast is pretty good. But yeah, it was pretty lackluster to me, so that's why it's number 3 on my list. Number 2 is Aquaman 2, and if you are a member of this channel, you will have seen my out-of-theater reaction to this movie. I really can't stand this movie. I really liked the end. I think the end was really solid, and I think that the end does showcase everything that was intended for the film initially. But with all of the rewrites and all the reshoots, it felt like the messiest movie I had ever seen. Like the first 2 acts, you can't tell when the first act ends and the second act begins. It just jumps around so much. Every time that Mira saved Aquaman, I just thought it was the dumbest thing, and I was like horrified because she was like charging towards the screen, and I was like, no, we wanted less of that, please. So I really did not like that. I think that Patrick Wilson and oh my goodness, what is his name? I always forget Jason Momoa. Sorry. I like him, but I'm not like obsessed with him. I think he's fine. I think he's a likable person. And I obviously think he was a great choice for Aquaman, but I don't really, I don't go out of my way to see a movie that he's in. But I think that their chemistry was good. I liked the whole, storyline there with the whole brothers, coming together after, being so against each other at a certain point. So much exposition. I was tuning in and out so much of that movie because every single detail was just being explained conversationally, and I could not stand it. Like, show me at least like one conversation that they had, and that would have improved the movie. Like, show me what, like, and don't talk, just show me what's going on. Did not like that movie. I really liked the end though, and so it is that what if scenario of what could have happened if that film had been not rewritten and reshot 10 billion times. Drum roll, please. The Oscar does not go to The Marvels. The Marvels is my number 1 hated movie of the year, and it might be my number 1 hated movie of all time. genuinely. That's a movie that I was incredibly bored with throughout the movie. I didn't understand why things were so stupid. Like, you could have had a really perfect blend of comedy and just also badass stuff, kind of like the original Charlie's Angels, not the most recent remake, but like they did a really great balance with the tones in that one. And I think if you revisit that movie, I haven't revisited it in quite a while, but I remember them being able to play with the fun and also seriousness of that movie. There were so many missed opportunities where you could have, Monica Rambeau and Carol Danvers should have completely been able to understand each other better, and we could have seen that like they do at the end, but it was so fake and forced and like fast. Being able to understand both of each other's trauma and like finding out why Carol was so distant, and like there was none of that in the film, and they kind of like start to make you think that's going to happen when Carol like sees when Monica puts those whatever those headphones are on and is able to see like her past, and like that was like to me, oh, they're gonna really dive deep into this, and then they don't at all. Instead we get a stupid montage of people throwing treats and juggling and practicing their powers, and the singing is the worst. That planet with the music is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And I know people that know me, like I am a musical theater person. Like I really appreciate really great writing when it comes to that. And like that was the worst thing I've ever seen. The dance numbers were so bad. I just can't even believe that was okayed for this movie. I actually can't even believe that anyone okayed this movie. I can't believe that Kevin Feige okayed this movie to be seen in theaters. They didn't take a note from DC and say, oh, we got rid of the Batgirl and like we're just going to cut our losses. They put it out, and it sucked. It was so bad. I know I've gone on rants about this before, but like I knew it wasn't probably going to be good, but I didn't know it was going to be that bad, and it was just so disheartening. I've been following Marvel since Iron Man 1, and to me, I just felt they were like, oh, well, we better get a girl one out. And this is the one that gave us, like, come on. I just think it is just so disrespectful to the female fans. And I'm not saying that this movie is just for female fans, because, 67% of the demographic that saw the movie were men. And I think that, like, yeah, you should make all of these Marvel comic book movies made for everyone. I totally get that. But if you are going to have, like, the three women showcase the movie, do something better, be smarter, be more careful and delicate with your writing and plan overall. Like, it was just thrown together so sloppily, and I just can't stand that movie. So yes, The Marvels to me is the worst movie of 2023 and perhaps the worst movie of all time. I hope you all have a wonderful 2024. Happy New Year, everyone. And thank you so much for stopping by. I will be putting out a best of once I finish seeing the next 4 or 5 movies that I need to see. I know they're going to be good, so they would never wind up on this list. But that will probably be this week or next week, depending on how quickly I can see them. Thank you so much for joining this channel and being here during 2023. All the ups and downs and craziness, and I genuinely appreciate it. Again, have a wonderful New Year, and I'll see you next time.